Hi, this is Brian Bloom with Mover Search Marketing. We're going to assume you're a moving company interested in getting more customers by ranking your site in online search. In order to do that, you need to have a very good understanding of keywords. And we're going to cover that, and specifically an understanding about keywords for movers. Let's start with the basics. In terms of search engine optimization, what are keywords? Don't worry if you're confused. It can get very confusing because when you think of a keyword, most time people are thinking of just one word. Yet in the context of SEO, a keyword is really more commonly used to describe a word or a phrase that people enter into the search engine. And we all know for us movers, they could be all kinds of different things like Boston movers, just movers, moving from Boston to New York, or cost of living in Boston. It really doesn't matter. Any word or phrase that someone enters into Google search for us is going to be a keyword. Sometimes you'll hear the term long tail keyword, and that's really just a term that means a longer search, generally 6 words or more, but they still are all keywords from the standpoint of Google. It's vital that we understand search intent. The reason for this is that when someone enters a keyword search into Google, they're looking for something. They want something. They have a particular intent with their search. Each keyword has a primary search intent tied to it. So let's go over all 4 of them. It's important to comprehend them because you need to understand the particular keyword you might be writing about or optimizing your website for. And if you don't match the content to the keyword search, Google's going to know that and your site will never rank for that particular piece. So let's start with transactional intent. That's pretty obvious. That's someone who wants to buy something and they probably want to buy it now. The difference between transactional intent and commercial investigation is that generally commercial investigation means they're a real buyer, but they're probably not ready to buy right now. And a lot of times these 2 keywords will have location intent involved with them, meaning someone's looking within a city. They're very similar for us, and they would include keywords like movers near me, Boston Moving Company, best Boston movers. So they may still be comparing companies, but they're definitely ready to buy. The first 2, transactional and commercial investigation, are very similar, and they're the most obvious keywords that we want and most people focus on solely. They're also by far the most competitive for the same reasons. Let's go on to informational intent. That's where someone's doing research and asks questions. So they're looking for information. It could be the answer to a question or something that requires a more in-depth answer that can only be properly handled in an article. Most movers skip over keywords in this intent category, but they are making a huge mistake, and let me tell you why. As movers, we know that people have to do many things in advance of moving, in some cases months in advance. Think about it. Don't people start to research new places that they might move to, or how to prepare for a move? They might look at homes, sign leases, look for a new church. Oh yeah, yes they do. So if you can rank high in search for keywords with informational intent, where the intent is a move in the future, you have a potential moving customer on your website. And then the last is navigational intent. The person's trying to go somewhere. They're looking for a specific website or a thing. You know, the search could be branded. Maybe they type into the search an actual company like 2 Men in a Truck. So these keywords are useful for us. But we're not going to cover those much more in this video. In terms of what we just discussed about search intent, let's take a look at an image from a presentation I regularly give to moving companies. Let's discuss them one at a time. In this sample, it's pretty clear that we're optimizing for a moving company in San Francisco. And we're also going to discuss these in weakest to strongest for the moving company. So let's start at the bottom. We could write an article for this website, this mover, that ranks high for, say, San Francisco 49ers. And first of all, when someone types that in, is that navigational intent or informational intent? Now, Google doesn't know. If you type San Francisco 49ers as a side note, Google doesn't know if you're looking to go to the San Francisco 49ers website or you're looking for information on the San Francisco 49ers. That having put to the side for a second, even if we could get a lot of traffic to our website for San Francisco 49ers, it's not really going to help us very much. The intent is probably not that the person's looking to move now or into the future. So we might be able to get you a lot of traffic to your website, but it's in vain. They're not going to convert. Let's move on to the next keyword, things to do in San Francisco, cost of living, things like that. Well, clearly that's informational intent. They're looking for answers. And if someone types this kind of a keyword in, you really can't say that right now they're looking for a moving company. In fact, you might say they're not at this time, but think about it. Isn't it reasonable and feasible to say that a decent percent of people researching what there is to do in a city or how much it costs to live there is seriously considering moving there? I think so. And in fact, our data shows that these types of blog posts, if you can rank for them, and we do for our clients all the time, they produce real moving customers. Let's move on to the next one. How to find an apartment in San Francisco. Also informational intent. They're asking a question. I think it's pretty obvious if someone's typing this in, they're going to move sometime in the future. So if you're able to get a piece of content that ranks high for this and they're on your website, some of those people are going to call you and reach out to you, and certainly they're going to remember you. So this is a pretty strong keyword. Let's move up the ladder. If someone types in moving to San Francisco or living in San Francisco, this is a very high search intent for a mover. Now, they haven't specifically said San Francisco movers, but they're researching moving to a new place. And there's a lot of variations of this keyword, but this is an extremely strong keyword type, and it is still informational intent, but it's kind of moving into a little bit of commercial intent. The last one is the commercial intent keyword, where someone's specifically looking for a mover. So everyone recognizes these keywords are extremely desirable for their website. They're the most difficult to rank for. So what you want to do is you want to put a list together that follows what you see on the screen right now. Think about where you're located. Put together a list of these types of keywords and you'll be well on your way to having some great keywords for moving companies. Let's finish up this video with some other really useful information for moving companies. They're concepts. They're a little more advanced, but I think you might like this. The first is clicks by position. So it doesn't do you much good if you rank for keywords and you don't make it to the first page. What this graph shows you is the percent of clicks depending on the position. So the person in first position is getting about 35% of all the clicks. The guy on the 10th position still gets clicks, but you can see it's a really small percent. So you really want to be in the first 5 to 6 positions to receive any sort of value from ranking. Something else you might find interesting is even if you write really great content, it's really well optimized, how long does it take for Google to recognize you as that awesome piece of content? Well, a big study was done and they looked at the content that was in the first position, and on average, they were 3 years old. So Google is very slow to move even really good content up. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Coming up with the right keywords for a moving company is easy when you know what you're doing and you think about search intent and what people will search for when they're looking for a mover, thinking of moving, planning a moving, etc. If you're interested in dominating in online search in your city, feel free to reach out to us and we're happy to discuss it with you.